1. So it showed that comforting had the lowest, also the 3.77. It means that helping students feel better when upset. This can further be noticed through to life scenario within a student whose upset doesn't openly welcome any help given. So because it was conducted in a university or in college, so student doesn't really open up easily because the instructor and classmate change differently in every subject. So it's really hard to have like a block of friends, a group of friends. It really depends. That's why some colleges we actually enroll on the same time, take the same course, have the same schedule, so we can stick together. Because it's really hard for college students to have different friends. It doesn't give us like a connection within each other. Even we have the same course, sometimes we don't know each other. Sometimes we are like, oh, we have the same course, I didn't see you, I didn't know you, like that one. So it's really hard. So there also persuasion, it has also has the lowest rate. It has 4.51, and their narrative scale have 4.53. So it means convincing student or entertaining them with stories, jokes. True student may find it leeway to skip on time for class. Most students don't see joke stories as source of new knowledge. Maybe because it was already based on college, so most of the students are actually very serious of taking their uh, subjects very seriously. So most of them doesn't really get the joke, especially when the teachers try to make a joke or something. But sometimes teacher actually make jokes that related to this lesson or subject. But it really depend on the student if they actually catch up the joke. So um so in regards for this one, the general differences of this table one, women relate almost all of the skills like referential, ego sport, and etc. as more important than men did. So there's actually a difference regarding for the male and female regarding for these communication skills. I can tell why, because girls really easily open up their feelings. They're emotionally driven. So that's why maybe they have this most of the skills in regards in communication, because they yap, they talk, they make like a conversation gossip like that. So in this also in table 1, reliability check, all skill has strong reliability value between 0.76 to 0.92, meaning the measure were consistent. So even there was a different in gender, they're still consistent regarding for reliability. So alpha reliability, which is this part, is a statistical measure of internal consistency that indicates how closely related as a set of test items are to one another and how. So consistently they measure the same underlying concept. This means that a set of data with high alpha reliability contributes of the fact that the set are close to one another. It also known as Cronbach alpha. So in regarding for this one, because there was a consistent in regarding for reliability, they also known as Cronbach alpha. So the key lesson on this table 1 is students see clear explanation and emotional support as most essential for good teaching, while comforting and entertaining are seen as less critical. Women value the skills slightly more than men. So As here, especially in college, because was conducted in college in a university. So upon conducting on the table one, it's really shown that um, explanation and emotional support was more highly a good teaching, especially on that kind of environment, than comforting and entertaining them, than making some jokes or like that. So on study 2, I'm gonna tackle this one. So in the study 2, it's mean study 2 scale means standard deviation and reliability. So I'm gonna tackle this one. So study 2, this table measure how often students actually observe their teachers using the communication skills and emergency behavior, plus how this related to student motivation and learning. So most often used skills are the referential skills and the conversational skills. So the referential skills has 4.98, which is teachers were fairly good at explaining things clearly, especially in college, because it really a must. Because when you're or I'm so sorry, when you are already in college, instructor have a master degree or a doctoral degree, so knowledge is a must, and they need to explain it more clearly to those students, because students have different um, they have different skills to catch up, like that. So other one is the conversational skill has 4.83. So teacher talks with the students in class. Often a good communication can bring forth that extra enthusiasm from the learners themselves. So it it doesn't apply to every teachers or instructor in college, but most of them actually have like a conversational talk first before the class. They talk, oh, what actually happened to you last time? I didn't see you in the class or something like that. They actually, or they gonna start a conversation. Oh, do you know something like what happened to Chu like that? So some actually, some instructor, not all of them, but some of them, and it leads to a good teaching. So less used skills are the comforting, persuasive, narrative skills. They are ranging around 3 to 3.95. So starting from 3.45, 3.80 to 3.95. So teacher did this less often, so they don't usually use this skills. So also the emergency behavior, nonverbal and verbal. So actually have a rate of 2.76, 2.20. So students rarely saw teachers smiling, making eye contact, or asking about their lives. In most occasions, teachers are rather busy with the lesson itself than to notice minute behavior changes from their student. So, like what I said, not all of the instructor gonna have a um, conversational talk before the class. Some instructor they gonna proceed immediately to the lesson. So they're more focused of the lesson, because they sometimes the instructor gonna have a deadline, like this week we're gonna tackle all of this chapter 1, next week we need to tackle all of chapter 2. So they're gonna catch up the whole courses in time. So that's why it was more lesser to experience the nonverbal and verbal in college. So like what I said, I experienced it more in grade school, and it become lesser in high school, then much lesser in college. So student outcomes, so motivation also have for the lowest 4.25. So moderate, it's actually in moderate, not very. Teaching motivates the learners to do good in class, but somehow expect every student to able cope up with each lesson. However, most of students receive moral support from peers. I relate this much. So, because the article was conducted in college, motivation doesn't actually came up from the instructor. It came up from the friends, like peers. That's why we enrolled at the same time, take the same course, have the same schedule. Because college was very draining. It really draining emotionally, physically, and financially. So that's why I advise you guys, especially now I'm taking a course. I actually try to communicate with other classmates privately to know them or have a small conversation, just to have a connection, have a communication like them. So I actually do that in secret because we're doing a online class right now. So yeah. So there let's proceed. It's also effective learning also have the smallest range. It has 5.08. So student like the material teacher fairly well. So in this one, I can relate in this or compare based on my experience, just my opinion. Because on my days, the the presentation was so simple, just simple. Slide to another slide to another slide, just click, click, click. But right now, it was different. It was really different. It more like a film, animation film. Kids nowadays really know how to. They're very tech savvy, so I quite feel jealous of it. But I was trying. I was adjusting. I was learning how to do it, or I was searching how to make a presentation that quite like them. Because nowadays students in very young age, their presentation was very captivating. So let's continue. Learning indicators also have a small um I'm so sorry. My sister was calling me. My sister was calling me. So I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna continue. So, like what I said, learners have the smallest range. It has 2.32. So students sometimes discuss review materials outside the class, but not often. It really depends on the students. Because college, sometimes you have enough time because we are bombarded projects, activities, laboratories. So we just do oftenly. We don't usually go to the library. Maybe based on my case, but I only see few students who actually visit library regularly. I'm so sorry. But our library actually quite nice. So reliability check, all measure very reliable. So it in range 2.85 to 95 points. So alpha reliability, I'm so sorry. So reading measure of greater than or equal to 0.70 is considered as a reliability data set. So again, on the table, teachers are good at explaining and versing, but we at showing closeness and comforting. Despite this year experience still boosted student motivation learning. So it really showed in this article that during college, teachers are really different in schools, high schools, and colleges. Teachers in school have a very verbal and verbal emergency behavior. They actually ask personally how's your day going, how you day, like that, and they actually have physical that they roam around, what you actually doing is projects or set work. But in high school, they actually do that. So that's why most people enjoy high grade school. In college, it's more pressure, feel pressure. It's the to success. So, proceed table. So, table 3 is correlate among communication skills and activation from meals must study too. By the way, upon them, I'm so sorry, they're actually continuing